Shadows of Evil, on paper, one of the most innovative and creative zombie maps of all time, but in practice, one of the most difficult on-disc maps in the series, and one that turned many new players away from Black Ops 3. Though the veterans of zombies found this map to be the best entry into the series, for the casual player, Shadows of Evil may have seemed like an absolute mess. So let's dive into why this map is this way, and my thoughts and opinions on Shadows of Evil. The reception of Shadows of Evil was mixed by the community when the trailer first dropped. However, after a full lifecycle of Black Ops 3, Shadows of Evil is widely regarded as one of the best maps that has ever been entered into Treyarch's Zombies series. By far, one of the most innovative maps, up there with Zetsubo no Shima, Gorod Krovi, and of course Origins and Mob of the Dead. Before we get into why this map is great, let's discuss some of its faults. First of all, there's the obvious beast mode learning curve. In Shadows of Evil, using beast mode is basically how you can complete all the tasks in the map. You can use a grapple and a shock while you're in beast mode, while also killing zombies. Now, beast mode isn't really used for killing zombies, more for opening doors, turning on all perks, any sort of power, and granting parts for rituals. Now, learning the locations for all these things, like getting the locations to get into beast mode, the locations to shock the electrical boxes to get on any sort of power, and the locations for the parts for the rituals and doors, all these things are incredibly difficult to learn for a new player. You have to look it up on YouTube, on the internet, and this can take hours and a lot of practice, which can turn off a lot of new players. Next are the rituals, and specifically the ritual time. Time for rituals on release was incredibly long, no matter how many players you had in it, and in solo, I don't believe time was tweaked, meaning that it would take incredibly long amounts of time, and a lot of keepers to fight off if you only have a pistol. It also made this ritual task extremely tedious, because you have to do them every single game just to get Pack-a-Punch open, and with their long amount of time, it was very annoying. However, this was pretty much fixed. Treyarch tweaked the ritual times to make it quite a lot shorter, and also any gateworms that are picked up after the ritual is completed are in shared inventory between your teammates. This means that any part that your teammate picks up also goes into your inventory, meaning you don't have to worry about placing your own gateworm or your friend placing their gateworm in the Pack-a-Punch. Everything can be done at once. The Margwa's spawn rate is also a glaring issue with this map. The Margwa is the main boss of Shadows of Evil. He comes in every few rounds as the boss. The Margwa is an incredibly difficult boss to fight. His weak spot is his mouth, and you can only shoot his mouth when he opens it, and he opens all three of his mouths on a timer, which means it can take quite a long time to kill one, and it can be very difficult to land your shots. Meaning if there are more than one Margwa, it can become incredibly overwhelming very quickly, especially considering the tight map layout of Shadows of Evil. Finally, the Wonder Weapon. The Apothecon's Servant is the Wonder Weapon of this map. Though it is one of the obviously best Wonder Weapons ever introduced into a Zombies map, it is definitely one of the hardest to obtain, and that's because of the drop rate of its parts. The Apothecon's Servant has three parts: the Tentacle, the Xenomatter, and the Margwa Heart. The Margwa Heart can be obtained by killing a Margwa, the Xenomatter is obtained by killing either meatballs or flies, and the Tentacle can be obtained from purple pods. Now, the Margwa Heart is definitely very easy to get. All you have to do is kill one Margwa, which can be completed very early on in the game, especially since a Margwa spawns after your second ritual. However, the Xenomatter is incredibly rare, and since it only drops from flies or meatballs, which only come with zombies in very high rounds or on special rounds, it can be very difficult to obtain this Xenomatter. And especially since the Xenomatter's drop rate alone is incredibly low. I've gone to round 30 or 40 without ever seeing the Xenomatter. And this is obviously a problem because by such a high round, it is necessary that you have the Wonder Weapon. The Tentacle is also very difficult to get, since you can only get it out of purple pods, which only begin to spawn by round 15 or so. And because of these factors, the Tentacle and the Xenomatter, no amount of player skill can negate how late you have to get this Wonder Weapon. A good Wonder Weapon should be able to be obtained by a very low round by default, if you have a high player skill, and this should play into how well you know the map. However, the Apothecon's Servant is incredibly luck-based. Now let's get into the things I absolutely love about Shadows of Evil. First, the amazing Wonder Weapon. Though I did discuss how difficult it is to get the Apothicon Servant, once you do get the Apothicon Servant, it is absolutely one of the best Wonder Weapons of all time. First of all, it creates a black hole portal, which can suck in zombies similar to a Gersh device, and just as effective as a Gersh device. But secondly, once the portal disappears, it creates a Thunder Gun-like blast, which can destroy any of the remaining zombies. This is an amazing Wonder Weapon, and by all means, super overpowered. If only it had that upgrade, Jason Blundell. Next is the map layout and traversability. The map layout of Shadows of Evil is wonderful, with the different sections of the map. It is incredibly tight in close quarters, which makes for some awesome chaotic gameplay, while still being almost as large as a map like Transit. Although, unlike Transit, this map has amazing ways to get around to the different sections of the map without having to walk or run all the way to the other side. There's the tram system, which is similar to the bus, however it can be called. Secondly, there are the portals, which are all around the map in the rift, which would be the main hub for the portals, and different doors in each section of the map to get back to the rift. This can make going from one side of the map to the other incredibly easily, as you can do it in 10 seconds. It is amazing. I love the layout of Shadows of Evil. The bootlegger is a very good weapon, fits the time frame very well, and fits the gameplay of Shadows of Evil, being close quarters and chaotic. It's just an all-around good weapon for low rounds, and very cheap and accessible. Next is the sword. The sword is amazing. The sword acts as the secondary wonder weapon in this map, and can be upgraded as well. The base sword can be used as a slam to shock a bunch of zombies, or just used normally to slice and dice the zombies away. However, the upgraded sword can be used just the same as the non-upgraded, except the slam is replaced with a sort of AI sword that can be thrown out and kill zombies without you even having to control it. The sword is incredibly effective and incredibly well worth it. It's pretty easy to get and one of the greatest secondary wonder weapons of all time. Also, fits the theme of the map and is very visually pleasing. The new perk, Widow's Wine, is one of the best perks ever introduced into zombies. It is one of Juggernaut's only competitors that has ever been introduced. It is incredibly effective and can save your ass in so many situations and so many times that I can't even count it. It's used for so many different things, where it is saving yourself out of a corner by freezing the zombies in place, more knifing damage, or special grenades that can be used to freeze the zombie. It also fits the theme of the map very well. The characters in this map are pretty solid. Very good acting for the most part, except for Jackie Vincent, and very entertaining characters. I believe that the community honestly thought that if we had to deal with these characters for the rest of the life cycle, it wouldn't be that bad. These characters were quite good, and their development throughout the map was very interesting. They started out as sinners, and only wanted to help just for their own selfish needs. But in the end, after getting absolutely screwed by the Shadow Man, they all banded together as a team to help the Keepers and save the universe, and this time for the right reasons. Next, the story implications in this map were very interesting, with the ending of Richtofen coming in and grabbing the summoning key. Though very brief, it set up the entire plot for Black Ops 3 Zombies. And finally, this map's Easter egg. This map's Easter egg, though incredibly difficult, is very, very fun. It's a fun Easter egg, and a short Easter egg at that, and requires probably the most amount of teamwork an Easter egg has ever needed out of a team. You constantly need to be communicating with your team if you want to get this Easter egg done, and it's all around just a really fun Easter egg, and incredibly rewarding as you get all your perks at the end. In conclusion, though Shadows of Evil may not be for everyone, to the hardcore player, it is by far one of the greatest maps of all time, with brand new weaponry and innovation never before seen in the series. It has a map layout that is incredibly large, however very chaotic at all times, and easy to traverse around with all the different modes of transportation. So finally, to give this map a rank, I give it a solid 8 out of 10 IGN. I really enjoy Shadows of Evil personally, and I think many people who are hardcore fans of zombies would agree with me on this regard. Anyways guys, this has been my first Zombies map review. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. I wanted to do this because I think it's important that we reminisce on why Black Ops 3 Zombies was great and all of its faults in between, so that we can give this feedback to Treyarch to make an absolutely amazing Black Ops 4 Zombies experience. Anyways guys, I will see you in my Horizon Dark map review. Goodbye.